Hi guys, it's Comic G-Man again, and I'm here today to talk about an old review on The Last of Us Season 2. Now, yes, I know, this isn't particularly a relevant subject right now, as the show is kind of already old, I guess, in today's terms. But I still think it would be interesting to talk about my thoughts on it at the time. So, I'll start off with this. This is what I wrote. As a huge fan of both video games, even with the issues of the second game, this season is awful. Season 1 was actually very good, so I was excited to watch the new season and subscribe to HBO Max just to watch it. Well, episode 1 was a horrible start. Literally nothing big happens. It got worse with each episode, and after episode 3 is when we decided to stop and cancel HBO because how dull the pacing was and how shallow the writing felt. So, if I remember right, I remember what really pissed me off at the time is I didn't like how in season 1 they developed Ellie's character somewhat accurately from the games, not completely, but they developed her from kind of this immature child, a little bit of a pain in the ass, although the show made her a real fucking pain in the ass smart ass, which I didn't really like, but I kind of let it go over my shoulders at the time. But season 2 was the final nail in the coffin because they threw away all of that character development that she went through in season 1, and it was like she just started all over again and she was a fucking annoying brat all over again. Like, I just didn't understand that. That's not how it worked in the games. Like, by the time you're on part 2 on the games, I mean, she's kind of like, I wouldn't want to say totally miserable, but she's not exactly like cracking up as many jokes as she used to. She's a little more on the nihilistic side, a little more quiet. I mean, after everything she saw, can you really blame her for not being as quippy as she once was? So when they kind of scrapped that whole character evolution, I guess we'll call it, it just felt like, well, what the hell did I just watch season 1 for? I just wasted my time. And I did enough of, I had all these compromises about the show anyway, and I still enjoyed it. And even with that, it was like they said, yeah, forget about it, that none of that actually mattered. And no, of course, the Pedro Pascal, Joel getting killed thing didn't bother me because I already knew it was going to happen from playing the games. Obviously, it had the same effect on audiences who didn't play the video games, and I don't think it went well with those audiences. I don't think they liked that they killed him off. And this was pre-Pedro Pascal fatigue. And I was already tired of him at the time. I mean, he did okay as Joel, you know, but I was even getting kind of tired of seeing his face on everything. And this was before the Fantastic Four stuff that's happening now. Anyway, let's see what I say here. I say, oh, well, I was watching this at the time. I say, luckily, The Walking Dead, Dead City Season 2 starts today, so I'm just going to just stick with AMC for my zombie fix. And oh my god, edit, I am going to take that back months later. Dead City is garbage, okay? Now I will say Dead City was garbage. That show was horrible. So no, I don't thank God for Dead City. That is a fucking abortion. Anyway, I say here, unlike many critics, I thought Bella Ramsey did her best as Ellie Williams last season. She kind of grew into the character, even though she looks nothing like our girl Ellie. I'm sorry, but that's true. Then I say, but I give credit where it is due. Where season 2 fails is it takes all of the progress Ellie made in season 1 and throws it away. Okay, so I did say that. Alright, so I bring up more examples. It's the same thing I just said, how she was a total smart-ass little baby, and now in the game she curses and whips up a couple of cracks, but never to the absurd degree they make Bella Ramsey take it. Right, so when Bella does this in season 2, she comes off as mean and petty. When Ellie would do this in the game, she was actually funny and cute, and I'm referring to the first game. My biggest complaint, and so in season 2, I mean, she was kind of a bitch. Like, she was mean, she was petty, she was shallow. when Ellie showed her mean and dark side in the second game, I didn't feel like it was coming from pettiness. I felt like it was coming from someone who was deeply torn, someone who was tormented inside. And I really felt that performance was well showed with, I think her name, what was her name? Ashley Williams, the one who acted in the video game. But it wasn't coming, like, when she was giving Joel shit in the game, yeah, a lot of people construed it as the feminism and all that, and maybe it was that, but I personally didn't take it that way. I just took it like she really believed that he took away the opportunity to change the world for the better from her. Even though we could debate, like, I don't even think that would have changed anything. I think she would have probably died on the table and not much would have changed anyway. So, yeah, I'm one of those guys who think Joel made the right decision. So, yeah, whatever. I don't care what you think. I think he did the right thing. But the point is, it's from her perspective, she really believed that she was the answer, the key. And her backlash towards Joel is just a form of anger, a form of regret. It's not pettiness. I don't think she hated him. I never took it that she hated him, that he was a man and all this stuff. It was her growing up and facing all of these conflicting feelings about what happened. Now, season 2 fails this miserably. She just comes off like a fucking little pain in the ass. Now that I bring it up, I forgot the character's name, but he was the guy, like in the game, he gave Ellie and Dina shit for kissing in the diner. You know, he said, well, you shouldn't do that, this is a family event. And then she said, like, oh, you're a bigot, and, you know, all that fucking bullshit. And even I thought that was fucking cringe. And then the whole meme about, what did she say? Bigot sandwiches, because she didn't want his sandwich when he apologized to her. You know they're going to put that shit in, because you know who's writing this crap. That was just bad writing, I think, in my opinion. But it did, at the time, it didn't really bother me that much. It wasn't that big of a deal. I actually think the way they handled that in the show was worse, because that same guy who in the game offered her a sandwich, in the show, he went even way more out of his way to show that he was sorry for talking to her and Dina like that at the diner. Like, there was a part where, you guys could correct me in the comments. You remember this character I'm talking about. When you play the game, you find out he's an old grouch, because when you find notes in the old house in the snow, I think it's when you're playing as Abby, if I remember right. You find notes, I think, like I'm pretty sure his 2 sons died. Now, I don't know if they were killed by the infected or they died of starvation out in the cold, and then he was on his own and he ended up in the town that he's in now. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just not going to look that up right now. But a lot of depth to the character like that you don't really have much screen time within the game. The show does not give you that little tidbit. In fact, it goes out of its way to try to make you think he's a fuck no matter what he does. And it doesn't work. It actually makes Ellie each time look like an asshole. Like, she has to make a speech in front of the fucking communist, you know, they gotta ask their permission to go and get vengeance and go after Abby's group for killing Pedro. I'm back to the TV show now. And the old man that gave her shit with Dina, before he does this, Ellie does this fucking stupid speech. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, but it was so well acted. That's how a girl would act when she's reading from a piece of paper. She writes something on a piece of paper, and she reads it to the people in the communist court to get their permission. And her speech is so lame. It is so lame. It lacks any heart. It lacks anything. And Ellie Williams would never need a fucking note to read to anybody. That fucking character, she speaks from the heart, whether you like it or not, even when she's wrong, it's coming from her. That's Ellie Williams. This was ridiculous. She needed to read from a note to fucking say she wants to go after Abby? What? Are you kidding me? So anyway, she reads this note to the communist morons to ask for their permission. And the old man that was, kept trying to appease to her to apologize for being a, quote, bigot, he even goes out of his way to convince the communists that Ellie is right, and he makes actually a pretty damn good speech, like, oh, so what are we going to do? We're going to let these strangers come into our town, murder one of our own and let them get away with it. I mean, he had a great speech, way better than what I'm telling you. And even after that, even after him taking her side and making her argument look good, when she's leaving with Dina to go after Abby now on her journey, he comes to her and he gives her a really good a sniper rifle. I forgot which sniper it was. Like the bolt-action sniper. He gave her some supplies. And if I remember correctly, she still kind of acted like a fucking jerk to him. Now, I mean, look, the guy might have said a few bad words in the diner, but it's not enough to fucking condemn somebody like that. Like, the guy went out of his way multiple times and really showed that he really felt bad about it. Like, give the guy a break. So that form of writing, to me, made Ellie's character more dislikable. And so it proved what people were saying at the time, that not only did the writers in the game go out of their way to make you hate Ellie with all of these things that she did throughout the game, but they even went out of their way. Excuse me, I'm getting up from my table, and I am going to charge my tablet right now because it's dying. But anyway, I'm saying that not only did they go out of their way to make you think that she's a bitch, because in the game they wanted you to like Abby. And look, I'm one of those minority people that actually liked Abby's story, but I didn't sacrifice Ellie in exchange to like Abby. I still like Ellie even with all the bullshit the writers throw at you. But in the show, I mean, it's even worse than the game. They really go out of their way to make you say, Ellie is a brat, Ellie is an ungrateful little bastard who doesn't give anybody any credit even when they deserve it. So why should I care what happens to Ellie at this point in the show, I mean? Now, even though they did similar tactics in the game, it wasn't as, for me personally, it wasn't as problematic. I hate that word. I hate this word, problematic. That's the only word I could think of right now. But it wasn't as much of a problem in the games, because the game, you have a lot of time in it, and I think there's a lot of nuance in it, and it feels human. It feels more human. So the mistakes that Ellie makes throughout the game, it's more forgivable because it feels more like incremental. It feels more like natural. But in the show, I mean, it's like a wall. It's like there's in season 2 specifically, there is no progress here. There is no reason to invest. And I pulled out, I think, I pulled out of the show around episode 6 at the time. And I don't even remember that last episode. I don't even remember what happened when I pulled out of the show. But let me get back to what I wrote here. What did I say? Now, okay, so I said all that already. I said that about her being petty. All right, so look. Here, you guys are gonna like this, I think. So I said, my biggest complaint is Bella still looks like a child to me, especially Dina, when in the video game by now both are grown women. So, seeing these two girls about to embark on a bloody campaign is hard to believe. I'm glad they skipped the marijuana scene where Ellie and Dina do it, fuck, because it would have come off like child porn in the show, because they do not look like they are over 18. Right, so look, I don't know if they did have any sex scenes, because when I pulled out, I do remember that really horrible scene where they were in the tent together in the show, and they were like looking at each other, and they were like laying next to each other, and I swear to God, I felt kind of ashamed watching it. Like, I felt like I was looking at like it was on the edge of watching like fucking some weird underage shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was weird, like, look, you could say, oh, but in the Last of Us Left Behind, Ellie and Riley kiss. Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, they're underage in that. They're like kids, really. And, we could talk about the political aspects of Left Behind, but I don't want to. I don't want to get into the politics because it's kind of boring and that's all everybody talks about now. But if we just talk about the base concept of what happens in Left Behind, it's really kind of kiddish shit. Like, they're playing in the mall, they're getting into trouble, they almost get killed a couple of times.
And I think you could, if I remember correctly, you could even choose to do it or not. Like, you could choose to kiss or not. I personally never do it. I don't like make them kiss. I think it's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I think it's a little weird that you want to watch two little girls kiss. So I always avoided that. I'm pretty sure you could pick and then it just ends. But anyway, but even if you do pick that in the first game, it's not weird because it's not too sexualized, because it's like Riley got bit, and it's like, it's all these emotions, and they just, do a little kiss. But in Last of Us Part 2, the video game specifically, like, Ellie is a grown, developed woman. Sure, she's emaciated, she looks sickly, and she's very skinny, but she's a grown woman. You could see it in her face. Dina is like a full grown woman. I mean, she is a grown woman. There is no doubt about it. Dina is a grown woman. So when they're going at it, whatever, it's two adults. So now you bring this same concept to the season 2, but you have these two actresses that look like little girls. It's fucking weird. So that was a big turnoff for me. I think that's where I pulled off. The truth is, Bella Ramsey was good for season 1, but still was a mistake. Her acting does not compare to Ashley Johnson. What did I say? Ashley William before? Alright, so Ashley Johnson's motion capture performance of Ellie in the video games. Ellie in the video games has a range of emotions. Bella has the same look throughout and is very hard to relate to. So, look, I wrote that pretty much close to the time that season 2 was coming out. Why can't I get... I'm looking at this right now on my Rotten Tomatoes account. I don't know why I didn't put it on Metacritic, but I know I wrote this like around the time of episode 6, and I felt like I was going against the tide a little bit, because if I remember correctly, the ratings for like the regular audience, not the critics, the audience was also pretty high at the time. I think it was in the late 80s or early 90s. But now, looking ahead of time, like months later, I don't even know how long has it been since this season came. Oh, April 13th. All right, so I was even writing shit about this on Reddit at the time, like each episode was coming out. But yeah, look at the rating now. The rating now has been at the 37% months later for regular people. So, I was like many other people. Many other people feel this way. And they're not a bunch of haters. I think, sure, you got people who are just going to hate on the show because they hate it, but I genuinely was interested, and I just thought it was a failure. I really did. And, I knew what the second game was, and I wasn't expecting it to be like anything great, but it was not even good. And here we are. Look, the audience thinks that. You're going to hate the audience? You're going to tell the audience you're fucking assholes? I mean, look, yeah, I'm not saying all the time the audience is right. No, but I mean, there's got to be a point where you say, like, maybe the audience knows what they want. I don't think the critics know shit. I don't think they ever do. I think they're just a bunch of paid-off shills. But forget about the critics. That's just how I feel. That's just how I felt about it at the time. And I stood by it. I still feel that way about it now. Glad I pulled out of it. What a waste. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. Tell me what you think. Did you like? Did you not like? Whatever. Like and subscribe. Bye.